Hi, my name is James Orange, and I am an ELT consultant for Oxford University Press. And I'm speaking to you from my house here in La Coruña on the west coast of Spain, where, like many of you, I have been confined for the past weeks due to the coronavirus. Well, I really hope that this message reaches you, your family and friends, and finds you well and healthy. This is a Culture Byte video about mysteries and puzzles, and it forms part of a new series of presentations on different subjects of English available online from Oxford University Press. We've written this one for secondary students who have approximately a B1 level of English, but it can be used with other ages and levels as well, and that's up to your teacher. And as this is a video, remember that you can pause it at any moment if I ask you a question and you need time to think, and you can repeat any of the sections if you didn't understand something. Okay, well, let's get cracking. Okay, so who is this? What was his job? And what was he famous for? Okay, well, it is Albert Einstein, who was born in 1879 and who died in 1955. He was a German physicist who developed the theory of relativity. And he once said that mysteries are beautiful. They are the source of art and science. So he's basically saying that mysteries are good because they make us creative and they make us investigate and use science. And even in the 21st century, there are still many things we don't know. There are still many mysteries. We live on a small planet in the middle of a very big space. And you could ask, how big is the universe? Are there any other planets with intelligent life? And what are black holes? These are some of the mysteries that still exist. And here on Earth, there are many mysteries too. In the deserts, for example, in a desert in Peru, you can find the Nazca lines. And these are enormous drawings in the sand, some of them over 1 kilometer long, but nobody knows why they were created. Then you've got in the mountains, people say in the Himalayas that they've seen a yetis. And in the sea, remember that 75% of the earth is water. And there are some parts of the ocean that man has never been to, some of the deepest parts of the ocean. And also, people used to talk about the Bermuda Triangle, where boats and planes would disappear. And there are places in the jungles, especially in the Amazon, which have never been visited by humans. And there are many mysteries in the human body. Just look at the current health crisis with the coronavirus that has the entire planet in lockdown, and nobody knows how to cure it. We have advanced, though, because there are many things that people believed in the past that now we know are rubbish. For example, in Roman times, people believed that if you drank the blood of a gladiator, that would cure epilepsy. Drinking the blood of a gladiator would cure epilepsy. People a long time ago also believed that the earth was flat. People also believed in medieval times that people with red hair, redheads like me, became vampires when they died. And when trains were first introduced, many people thought that if you traveled on a train, it would send you mad. It would cause insanity because of the side-to-side motion of the train. Well, this is a picture of a UFO. In English, we call it a flying saucer. Do you think this is a real UFO? Maybe it's just a picture of a hat or a frisbee. Now with Photoshop, it's easy to modify a photo to create a fake picture. As human beings, when we see things, we want to understand them. So we look for patterns that we recognize. For example, this is a picture of the tail of a peacock. But our search for patterns is what helps us to solve a jigsaw puzzle, for example, or to understand a phrase with the letters missing. So here you have two phrases, but the letters are missing. Can you tell me what they say? And you remember, you can pause the video while you think. Well, the first sentence says, can you read this? And the second one, my name is James. A riddle is a question with a double meaning, which is presented as a puzzle. Here are some riddles. See if you can solve them. And remember, you can stop the video when I say pause video so that you can try and think of the answer. So the first riddle is, I have hands, I can move, but I cannot clap. What am I? And you can pause the video now. And the answer is a clock, because a clock has hands which move, but it cannot clap. Somebody also said it could be a Tyrannosaurus Rex, because the Tyrannosaurus Rex has very small arms and it cannot clap. But I think a clock is a better answer. And the second riddle is, what has to be broken before you can use it? You can pause the video now. And the answer is an egg. You have to break an egg before you can use it or before you can cook it. Many jokes involve plays on words. A joke is something that somebody says to make people laugh. Here are some examples, but you might think that they're very bad jokes. So the first one is, what do you call a nose with no body? What do you call a nose with no body? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Okay, and the second one is, why do French people like to eat snails? Why do French people like to eat snails? And the answer is because they don't like fast food. And in literature, mystery is also a very popular genre, both in fantasy books and in detective novels. See if you can guess the name of a famous fantasy author and her most famous series of books from the picture on the left, the top left, this picture here. Can you guess the name of the author and her series of books? Well, the answer is the author is J.K. Rowling, and the series of books was the Harry Potter books. Okay. And what about this famous author of detective stories? And the name of his most famous detective is the person you can see in the picture on the left at the bottom. And this detective is also now the star of a popular series on Netflix. So the author is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and the detective who stars in his books is Sherlock Holmes. And in the film world, this director was considered to be the master of mystery and suspense. Do you know his name? Well, it was Alfred Hitchcock, the film director, who lived from 1899 and died in 1980. And he made over 57 films during his career. Many of them are now classics, even though they were made in black and white. And here are a few of these famous films with some of the letters missing. Can you guess the name of the films in each case? Okay, so there are 7 different films, and they are The Birds, Psycho, Vertigo, The 39 Steps, Rear Window, Spellbound, and Frenzy. So how did you do? And now in modern times, Stranger Things is an example of a very popular series about mysteries. And I have a quick trivia question for you. What was the name of the parallel universe in series 2 of Stranger Things? And you can pause if you want to think about this. And the answer is the Upside Down. Puzzles are like mysteries where we know the answer, or we know that they have an answer. So puzzles are mysteries that have a solution, and we have to try and find the answer, or solve it, or to find the solution. And puzzles can be visual puzzles, like jigsaw puzzles, or physical puzzles with clues, like an escape room, for example. Or they could be lateral thinking puzzles. And I have a couple of examples for you. So let's have a look. Okay, well, puzzle number 1. Well, puzzle number 1 goes like this. Peter walks into a bar and asks for a glass of water. The barman pulls out a gun, and the man, Peter, says, "Thank you." Why? Okay, so let me repeat that. Peter walks into a bar and he asks for a glass of water. The barman pulls out a gun and points it at Peter. And Peter says, "Thank you," and walks out. Why? Okay, and you can pause the video now, or you can play it again while you think of why Peter says thank you when the man points a gun at him. Okay, well, for those of you who haven't guessed it yet, I'm going to give you some clues. The clues are the following. So, Peter obviously has a problem, so he asks for some water. Now, the water would help him with his problem, but the barman doesn't give him water, but points a gun at Peter. Peter is surprised and shocked. But Peter says thank you because his problem has been solved. So what problem can be solved by a drink of water or a shock? Well, the answer is that Peter has hiccups. He has hiccups. And so that's why he goes into the bar and asks for a glass of water. And when he goes into the bar, he goes, hello, could I have a drink of water? And the barman thinks, aha, he has hiccups. I'm going to give him a shock because that's another way of curing hiccups. And so he points the gun at Peter. Okay, well, here is puzzle number 2, the lateral thinking puzzle number 2. So, Robert lives on the 10th floor of a building, and every day he takes the lift down to the street and he goes to work. And at the end of the day, he returns to the building and takes the lift to the 7th floor. Not the 10th floor. And then he walks up the stairs to his flat on the 10th floor. Now I have 2 questions for you. Why does Robert walk up the stairs? He doesn't like walking. Why does he do that? And also, on rainy days, on days when it's raining, he does take the lift up to the 10th floor. Why? Now remember, you can pause the video now and play that again while you think of why Robert goes up to only the 7th floor and then walks up the stairs. But when it's raining, he can go up in the lift to the 10th floor. Have you guessed it yet? Well, if you haven't, here are some clues. What do you need if it rains? An umbrella. And why would that help Robert in the lift? This is some extra information. Robert often wears children's clothes because, well, you think about that. And also think about the buttons in a lift. How are they organized? Any idea now? Okay, well, the answer is that Robert is a very short man and he can't reach the top buttons in the lift. He can only reach button number 7. So he has to get out and walk up the stairs to the 10th floor. But on a rainy day, when it's raining, he can press the 10th button with his umbrella so he can go up to the 10th floor. And that is the answer. Increasingly, it's technology that is helping humans to solve the great mysteries of mankind. And here, for example, you've got the Hubble telescope, which is positioned in space and orbiting the Earth. It allows us to see further into space than ever before. And electron microscopes can magnify things as many as 500,000 times, 500,000 times. And here you can see an enlarged image of a big bacteria. And obviously, microscopes will be very important in understanding the coronavirus and in finding a vaccine. AI, or artificial intelligence, and computers are revolutionizing every part of our lives, and they will help us solve many mysteries because they are able to process information so quickly. And digital cameras can slow things down or speed things up so that we can see things that we wouldn't be able to see with our naked eye, so that we can understand them better. The picture here on the left is a balloon filled with water being punctured, and you can see that at the moment of the puncture you can still see the form of the balloon. And data can be used to see tendencies and trends which can help us and society. But data can also be weaponized or used against us. And data is collected from everything we do. When we use our phones or when we go online, we leave a footprint which allows companies to know more about us. So technology can be used against us. There are many examples of surveillance cameras in cities all across the world. And certainly there will be a certain amount of control necessary when the lockdown finishes, as we come out of our homes, so that we know who is at risk, who's dangerous, or who's safe. But you should definitely think twice before you put too much of your information on Facebook or other social media. And beware of false information or fake news. There is a lot of false information at the moment on internet about the coronavirus, for example. So be careful, think for yourself, and listen to different opinions from different people, and not just your own group of friends, because we are all at risk of being influenced by people on internet. And it's surprisingly easy to create fakes these days on internet, especially with Photoshop. So my conclusions when talking about mysteries and puzzles is that mysteries and puzzles encourage critical thinking and creativity, but they also show us the limits of our knowledge of the world. Okay, well, on behalf of myself, James, and all my colleagues at Oxford, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this cultural bite. See you soon, and in the meantime, stay home and stay safe. Goodbye.